What's going on, guys? You got Quasi here for Quasi Animation and Quasi Media Network. I want to show you guys something. So, question came across my table. How do you use something like, let's say, maybe a plane to create a for a character, and that character, you can use that plane to adjust that character's uh, what we say, maybe adjust that character. I mean, not adjust that character. Use that as like a teleportation or a vanish or what they call it, a flashpoint or something like that. Okay, so the thing is we're going to use a plane that's going to be procedurally done, and I'll show you how to work, and I'll show you how that's going to work. So I'm going to bring that in real quick, the character by itself, and then I'll do this. So 1 second. So yeah, the what I'll do is add the plane. So I'm just going to add plane. Let's call it a flash plane, right? All right. So I'll bring that plane in. I'm just going to append it from the file that is already in. I don't know why I don't have this as a default, but it's not. Okay, let's go look it up because it's already been made. So we already called it the vanish effect. I'm just going to go grab the object. It says plane, but I'm going to rename it to vanish. Okay. So now, since we're in global mode, I'm going to go ahead and push it up some, and I'll push it forward. So what you want to do, and the best way to do this is so that you can have a good camera example. So let's bring in a camera. I'm going to bring a camera in. I'm going to hit 1. So when that camera comes in, it comes in at 90 degrees. And that's funny, right? Because wherever direction you're leaning from is the direction of which the camera will come in. So I'm going to change that clip in to 5,000. So I want to make sure it sees what I'm looking at. And I'm going to push it back some. That's what I'm going to do, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. So I'm gonna go into the transform properties and bring it up. All right, so now let's turn on the shading. This is gonna do render preview. Okay, so now we have a plane, and I'm going to scale it on the X. Oh, I have the entire thing selected, my bad. So I'm gonna scale it on the X and on the Z. Okay, all right. Now again, you can adjust this any way you want because the shader is pretty simple shader. All right. So what I'm going to do to make sure that this stays where it needs to go is I'm going to lock this plane to the camera. So I'm going to click the actual object constraints. I'm going to go to track 2, and I'm going to track it to the camera. Okay. Now it's already tracked wrong, but we're going to fix that. So just bear with me. Okay. Well, no, let me untrack that. Let me do this instead. Let me make sure that all transforms are selected. Wrong. We don't want all transforms. I want rotation selected. Okay. All right. So we want to apply rotation, not transforms. Track 2 and then to the camera. This should move again, but this time now we have to find which one it's going to be. So I'm going to go Z and negative Y. Now, so it's going to, on the up is Z and the negative Y is the track. Okay, so now when I move the camera, it's going to move wherever I move the camera to. Okay. All right. So now, so it's locked to the camera. Again, let me show you. It's locked to the camera. So no matter where the camera moves to, it's going to be in that direction. But understand, it can clip into the character, so we don't want that. All right. So let's say I have our character on screen. The character's on screen. So what you'll do is in your animation tab, right? So let's go to the animation tab. So what I want to do is I already know that the event it has a snap on it, so I'm going to add a track, and I know that this has a shader on it, but I'm going to add a track for it also. Okay, it did not work like I thought it was going to work. Well, I want to add a track. All right, let's just do this instead. All right, there it is. Now let's add a track. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. All right, now let's go over to it. All right, okay, I'll close all that stuff out. All right. So again, I'm going to go back into preview. Now, I'm going to grab my camera, and I'm going to move this camera up. All right. So let's move this camera up so it'll be in this angle, and I'm going to rotate it down. So when we look through it, we see it from this angle. All right. Let me go ahead and lock it. Ooh, man, I tell you, I swear by damn, my hands are just fidgety today. Okay, so I'm going to lock it there. All right, so now we're going to grab Crimson. We're going to pull her back because clearly this is not where I want it. So understand, you're not going to be able to rotate it, okay? But you can move it in location. All right. So we're going to fix the location to go up a little bit higher. So I'm going to go local. I'm going to pull it up and push it forward some. All right. So now that means I had to select my character. Come down here to keying because I don't feel like fighting with this. No, that's good. I'll do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to go location rotation. And let's just say at 40 frames. So I'll push it up here. This is where she's going to be in screen. So for 1 frame, she's going to be out of the scene. So I'm going to go grab her pelvis. Again, not the one I want. So here we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take her and I'm going to push her downward. All right. So I also know that the thing is with the pelvis, for some reason, it does not allow me. For some reason, not showing my arrow. Oh, the gizmo was off. All right. So I was wondering where it went. Okay, so I'm going to take her and push her down. We're just going to take her out of the shot. So clearly we can't see her in the shot, right? I'm going to go location rotation. So I don't want to go, whoop, she's going to be in the shot. But this is where we're going to have our situation. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera forward, back a little. So I'm going to go location rotation. I'm just going to push it. I'm start here, and then as we go forward where she pops up, I'm just going to have the camera continuously go forward. All right, so I'm gonna go forward some and then maybe rotate up a little. All right, I'm gonna go location rotation again, and I'm gonna vector that. All right, so I'm gonna give myself a 60 frames. No, let's say 70 frame. 70 frames. Okay, so I'll just push that down so I don't have to fight with that anymore. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my vanish, and I'm going to put scale on. Okay, I only want location and scale, so we're gonna go location and scale. Thing is it doesn't need to be on screen yet. So we know that she pops up at 40. I know I want this here. So I'm going to go 2 frames backward. 1, 2. Okay. And I'm going to move to that space. All right. So 2 more frames and I'm going to hit scale 0, enter. All right. And then I'm going to location scale. Now you can have your auto scale. You can have your auto key on. Boom, boom. So it's going to pop up. It's going to be up to 40. 2 more frames. And then we're going to location scale again. And then 2 more frames. Okay. All right, so now when we look at it through the camera and you turn all the overlay off, we know the camera zooming in. There it is. Okay, so it looks like she just shot into the shot, right? And it's simple as that. So so again, because her color is red, right? Now understand, I can also do that same kind of this particular effect with the I'm sorry, I kicked the mic, with the character model. But the deal is, with the problem for that is having to use more than one model. So you could always do a image, like for instance, if you want to try to use the character, let's say we took the character and turned her off for a second, and the plane, right? And I took this camera and turned it off, and I went to the settings and I turned this into a vertical. Okay, so let's say I go 1080 by 1920, right? And I took an image of the character that was directly like straight forward, so 90 degrees on 0. Okay, and let's just say I put 3, and I just put it just right at the base of this, and I just caught my character in that angle. So let's say we turn her back on and we look through there. I have her clean clear, so let's just make sure it's straight down the middle. And let's say you took an image of her in that like that, and let's say this is what we get in the image, and then you will take that image, but you need to have the background off. So let's say you go to the render properties and you go to film transparent, and then you render it out, and then you have a transparent image, and then you can take that same image and use the same concept for this vanish with the image, instead of it just being a procedural texture based upon these 2 things, the wave and the noise texture. But that's something I'm working on right now. So if you want to test it, you can, but I did something similar with Peleus in one of the episodes that worked out. So I hope to help someone out. But basically this is the easiest route, is to lock the plane to the camera. So now no matter where the camera goes, the plane will follow, and you don't have to worry about trying to track it. Just make sure that it doesn't clip through the character. So with that being said, nothing but love. I hope to help somebody out.